Desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Again, if you didn't hear the first time, desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Hi guys, my name is Rain, and I'm here to teach you how to take reign of your own life. So, I was just watching a video and somebody mentioned that quote. And did it ever strike something in me? I am someone who is 45 days clean from a very specific addiction, and I may go into further detail in the future, but for now, all you need to know is I'm 45 days clean. And it was just today that I heard this quote. So whether you're someone who is a week into trying to quit something, a month into quitting something, 1 day, even 0 days, I think it's worthwhile that you watch this video. I also think it's not just for the people who are trying to overcome addiction. One thing I want to say in general about addiction is everyone on this planet is either going through an addiction or has been addicted. Okay? I thought for the longest time, because I never did drugs growing up really, like I was never someone who was addicted to any drugs, I thought I was safe, you know? I thought I was bulletproof from addiction. No. Addiction is a sneaky little thing, and it's not just categorized as, you know, drug use. But what I will say again with this quote, it's not for people who are just trying to stay within their goals. It's just for people who, you know, have a desire to achieve something. Right? When I read desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want, I thought about my ambitions. I thought about this YouTube channel that I've been wanting to start ever since I was 11. Okay, and you know what they say about any desire or dream we have? The best time to start was 10 years ago. So for me, that was my 10 years ago now. I'm 22. And part of me still wishes that I went through with my YouTube. When I was 11, I did post a few videos, but you know, they were the kinds of videos that people make when they actually have an audience. Like I would be like, oh, this is my 50 fun facts about me, but no one knew who I was, so why would they care, right? We watch someone because we like what they have to offer, because maybe we see ourselves in them. There's probably a high reason you're still watching this, because there's some part of me that resonates with you. Maybe we have similar energies, maybe we have similar style, maybe we have like the same goals in mind, which for me, and I don't know about you, but I'm sure it is self-improvement and wanting to be on a better path in life. Okay, so again, going back to this, for those people who are currently battling an addiction, recovering from an addiction, you know, what my credentials are really don't matter. But I will say this, even though it really doesn't matter, I studied addiction therapy in college for 2 years. I have not been able to land a therapist job since, because one, it's saturated, and two, because of my age, right? When it comes to an actual therapist job, they're going to want to hire people with experience, and how are you going to get experience without experience? But you know what I'm saying? I was so upset for such a long time that I wasn't getting what I wanted, and what I wanted was a career in, you know, therapy, and specifically addiction therapy. It wasn't until I had all these rejections from the job I wanted that I realized maybe, you know, I could fix my own problems as well. It made me realize that the thing that I'm addicted to is not okay. And I had to let myself be so unhappy for the first few weeks. But now I'm 45 days strong. Whether I relapse or not is out of the question. I've already managed so far. And do you want to know how long I was addicted to this thing for? 10 years. 10 long years. The time that I should have started my YouTube channel was how long I was addicted to this thing for. 10 years. That's 10 years of my time that I'll never ever get back. But the one thing that I'm gonna say to everyone that's watching this video, don't let your unhappiness be specifically influenced by your past. You know, I can knock myself down all day for not doing the thing I should have done years ago, but you can't change that. All you can do is live in this current moment. And your current moment, whether you decide to click off this video and do something very degenerate, or you stay on this video, engage with me, and get whatever information you can, I'm here to remind you the choice is yours. It is literally a choice between the current comfortable you and your future, the future you. Okay? There's one thing to be said with being unhappy until you get what you want. Again, it's a dual-sided coin. You can be unhappy until you get what you want, but the thing that you want is bad for you. Or you can be unhappy until you get what you want, but the thing that you want is good for you. Do you see how much that changes the perspective? Okay, say I was addicted to alcohol being my example. My contract with myself is I want this drink. Okay, I want this drink so bad. I'm so used to having a drink every single day after work. I'm unhappy. The thing that I want is the drink. But if I take that drink, am I allowing myself to progress more as a human being? Is that in alignment with the goals that I have for future me? No, it absolutely does not even stand in the equation, right? Say I'm a different version of myself. I still want a drink, but I know, okay, I've just been to this AA meeting. I did a really good job. I showed up. I stayed consistent, but the desire for the drink is still there. But I'm unhappy because I'm having withdrawals. I'm unhappy because my body has grown a dependence for this drink. Do you see what I mean? You're unhappy, but it's for a completely different reason. And I'm gonna say this for everything, and I've already said this before in one of my old videos. Your new life is gonna cost you your old one. Whether this is in regards to quitting something addictive that is bad for you, or whether this is stepping into a new version of yourself, of self-improvement, your new life is going to cost you your old one. And the cost of that is going to be heavily dependent on how you perceive yourself, so your general self-esteem and confidence in yourself, your consistency, so your ability to keep a habit in check, and your ability to also break bad habits that aren't good for you. You're able to suffer through that pain, because pain is not meant to be beautiful. It is in its own way, but pain at hand, when we look at it, is not nice. Who wants to go through pain? Not a lot of us. Okay? But that's the thing, it's perspective. So whatever that contract is between you and yourself, get ready to be uncomfortable, because that's exactly it. You know, when we grow up, we have growing pains. We get pain in our knees. For me, it was my knees. My knees would always hurt so bad, I would like cry as a kid. My feet hurt, you know, my hands hurt. It was like the most random thing ever, but calculated. Meant for a reason. There's a reason these things hurt to let go. It's because they're comfortable. Okay? Again, whether it's from the standpoint of addiction, being addicted to something, or whether it's the standpoint of, you know, instant gratification, low quality activities, and then trying to jump into a lifestyle where you're doing more purposeful things, where you're doing more productive things. These both come with a cost. Okay? So again, if you're someone who really wants something, ask yourself how badly. Ask yourself how badly you want it. Because if you're someone who cannot see yourself crossing the finish line, don't have the desire to cross it. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be that desire that is going to keep you going. Okay? Desire better be for the good reasons and not for the bad ones. Okay? But again, it's going to be that inspiration that keeps you going. It's going to be that desire. I have this drive to achieve this certain version of myself. I have this drive to make X amount of money. I have this drive to be able to work wherever I want and all I need is a Wi-Fi connection. I have this drive to attract a fulfilling person that will love me in the way I deserve. I have this drive to be healthy and put nourishing things in my body, but also exercise in a way that is tailored to my needs and that challenges me and makes me stronger. These things all sound so good, but there's always a catch. And the catch is that desire contract. Okay? So again, it's all about how badly you really want it. A lot of us are fantasizers. There's only a small percentage of us that will actually manifest their fantasies into reality. Because I'll tell you that much, I'll tell you as someone who's been fantasizing for a very, very long time, it's easier. It is way easier to dream and to fantasize because it feels so good. Until you have to put yourself out there, until you have to feel uncomfortable, until you have to grow in discomfort to get to where you want to be. Why do we go after things that seem out of reach? Is my next question. Because you want to be happy. You would not be watching this video if you were 100% content with your life right now. You wouldn't. You wouldn't see my face. But we're here collectively as, humanity because there's something that we feel we need to change. Whether it's within ourselves, whether it's within, a general population. There are a lot of issues on planet Earth. And I think if we all had our heads in the place of self-improvement and fixing what we feel we've broken or what others have broken around us, again, how much more driven and positive would the world be if we had more people like that? If we had more people like that pushed in social media, it'd be hard to avoid. But the reason that not a lot of people are interested is because it takes effort. It takes hard work. And again, I mentioned it in my last video with wasting time. But the internet and the way that technology has been set up now is so easy. It's so easy to waste time. And even I myself, someone who's very driven, who loves to read self-improvement books in her spare time, who has been doing yoga since the age of 16, who I've personally been so spiritually oriented and around self-improvement for such a long time now. I'm someone that will end up watching 50 YouTube shorts. I'll fall into the trap. But are we here to fall into the trap of social media algorithms? Are we here to go after the life we want? I forget the exact term for it, but I studied sociology in the UK, and I remember we were specifically studying social media, and there would be this term that my teacher explained, and she would literally describe it as injecting something, right? I know we mentioned addiction, and I know we mentioned going after our goals, but specifically, the media injects us with information. Are we wired as humans to be constantly injected with things? No, we're not. So again, why do we fall victim to our desires, right? Now you've got to think about it this way. My cute little ambiance died in the background, aka my... what would you call it? Would you call it a projector? No. I guess a projector for the wall? The little cute... Anyways, it died. I guess we have to go without. But what I wanted to say earlier was, as far as, lazy, unproductive, addictive, detrimental behaviors go, I want to drill this into your head so bad, okay? You are not the issue, your desires are. And especially if your desires are something, again, negative and detrimental to you, that's how you know that it's not your fault per se, it's just what you're allowing to have power over you that is the issue. Okay, so you'll know this within yourself, whether it's an addiction, whether it's laziness, whether it's something you've been putting off, procrastination, maybe procrastination of even your own health, or procrastination of your own self-care, right? There's so many things that could be affecting us and hindering our growth, but you have the power to start it, whether it's, you know, something bad. You have the literal power to start that thing and let the cycle of that continue just as much as you have the power to end it. Okay, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? This goes out to the people who consume a lot, and I mean a lot, of self-development content. I know this niche is saturated. There is a lot of people that make self-development content, but I'm enamored, like I'm happy, I'm very ecstatic to know that. But what happens for a lot of people that are conditioned to just consume content on YouTube is they will watch all these videos, but it just stays in here, right? And knowledge, while it's very good to have up in our brains, means nothing if we don't apply it and make it into something tangible, right? If I sat here with all the knowledge in the world that that I don't have, of course, but all the knowledge that I've gathered over the years from my own personal experiences, from hearing what others have went through, from watching, you know, certain things, from reading certain things, from writing about, you know, my, again, past experiences, it would mean nothing if I didn't have anything to show for it. Technically, it'd be useless, because what am I doing with all this information if I'm not sharing it? And it's the same thing with watching all these videos and then doing absolutely nothing, and then going back to whatever you were doing that was harming you. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You know, when we have that speck of desire and motivation to do something and we don't act on it, oh my god, I wish that was a crime punishable by law. Because one thing we know about motivation is it comes and it goes. When you see that little light, catch it, and please hold on to it for dear life. Do not ignore that. Do not ignore the burning desire within you to do better. Don't be passive with your brain either and be like, oh, like I know this, like it's just something itching me to improve myself, but you know what, I'll leave it for tomorrow, I'll just enjoy today. What? Why would you do that? I mean, you have like the little carrot dangling over your face to do it, so do it. If it's gonna benefit you, what are you waiting for? Like, what is the hold up? You know, like even if it's 3 a.m. and you're like, probably should go to bed, you've got that desire for a reason. You know, if you're up and already messing up your sleep schedule, maybe do something productive. In the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about progress, and he says that to humans the most attractive form of motivation is progress. Okay, and this can also be dangerous. Anything that we become addicted to can be dangerous, so I'm going to quickly touch on that as well. There is such a thing as being addicted to self-improvement, and what that can cause is us being very harsh on ourselves, especially when we have days that involve external stresses, when we have days where, you know, hormonally we're not feeling up for it, where we have days where we're dealing with heartbreak, grief, even loss. There's so much that can go on, you know, in this life that habit tracking does not always consider. Okay, so I really just want to shine a light on that because it can get addictive, and I will finish this little excerpt that I took from the book. But please don't turn this into like a purging you know, starving and then adding too much on thing. What I mean is, if you've been consistent with your habits for a week, something happens on the 8th day and you can't bring yourself to do anything. When it comes to the 9th day, don't stack everything that you missed from yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? It can get very unhealthy and very toxic fast. So if you're someone who resonates with, like, you know, being slightly addicted to self-development, because once you're in it and once you're working on yourself, it is addictive. It's definitely one of the better addictions out there, but tread with caution. We are human, we are not robots, okay? Anyways, with all that aside, the most attractive form of motivation is progress. When we get a signal that we are moving forward, we become more motivated to continue down that path. In this way, habit tracking can have an addictive effect on motivation. Each small win feeds your desire. This is so true. I have been tracking my habits for a couple weeks now, and I can say it's definitely helped my mental health, being able to have like a visual marker of how much I've done, right? Because I'm currently in this era of my life where, like, I can bring myself to a state of happiness, but it's not exactly the most authentic. I have to shift myself to get there. But even in that regard, I can look at the credentials that I have done something and I've committed my time to something consistently enough. And that feels good. That's exactly the kind of push we need when we're having bad days, right? Because what did I say in my self-care video? Self-care is the hardest when you need it the most, right? Keep that in mind. Habit tracking is also very satisfying. It is so satisfying to check off even like a list for the day. People that make lists and enjoy doing them, like they know there's a, you know, psychology behind it, there's a process behind it. Humans love progress. And that's exactly why, you know, when we're stuck in ruts, we feel terrible, because this is not what we're wired to do. We're not wired to sit around, mope around, and furthermore not even move our bodies. Like, we're not. We just aren't. Okay, so I'm gonna link in my bio the app that I use for habit tracking. I think there are free versions as well, but this one I feel is very effective because it does reinforce consistency quite a lot, and it will send out specific notifications like when you've hit like 7 days of doing a habit. It feels really nice. We want certain things to kind of hit our pleasure center and like our dopamine receptors when it comes to self-improvement, when it comes to things that are genuinely good for us, right? It's about associations at the end of the day. So again, I will link the app that I use for habits in the bio. I'm not sponsored for anything. I have 54 subscribers right now. Like, I am not getting sponsorships, so you know that this is something I'm genuinely using. I'm not getting paid to say this. Like, this is literally coming from the heart, okay? Another thing I want to speak about, especially in regards to desire, is when you have a desire for something and you're genuinely very motivated to go after it, you're never gonna stop learning. And you're never gonna think to yourself, yeah, like, I'm perfect, like, I've made it, you know? Especially not early on when you haven't really achieved exactly what you want, right? And our resumes that we write for wanting to apply for a certain job, some of us will say we have the desire to learn beyond the job description. So when we send that out to employers, they think, you know, about the respective employee or future employee, like, oh, okay, they're willing to learn even more than what is the standard for this job, even more than what's on the criteria. And that mentality is exactly what you should have about life, and exactly what you should have about, you know, what goes on around you, your environment, and especially what your desire is. Learn beyond life's descriptions, okay? Life will always have this specific criteria. General criteria for society is like, get a job, get married, have kids, some in between part of that, retire, die. Do we want to live like that? Or do we want to learn beyond life's descriptions and like maybe live a little bit outside that box? Again, I'm not judging anyone's way of life. Maybe that you know, instills a sense of comfort in some people, and that's great. But for me, like, I feel like we're here because there's more to it than just that. I feel like if you come here on this earth, you do have a certain right to live life the way that you want, so long, and I mean so long, as it's benefiting yourself and it's benefiting others around you, okay? I know that there are good people that suffer a lot in this life, and I also know that there are bad people in life that get away with a lot of things, you know what I mean? And they, you know, they seem to be able to walk out with little punishment. But what I do know is that living life, you know, with negative feelings inside you, whether it's hatred, envy, you know, whether you're like exploiting people at work, even going there, that's never gonna fly. And those benefits that you're getting from whatever you're feeling, not gonna last. You might as well be a good person, even if it hurts at times. You might as well, you know, do things to like improve other people's lives than just be a piece of crap. You might as well. Whether there's a reward at the end of it or not, you just might as well. I'm telling you that much. Like, if you take away one thing from this video, just be a good person, okay? Just be good. And be good because you want to be good. Don't be good because you expect something out of it at the end. You know, I would be very content with myself even if I got nowhere with YouTube. I'm doing this because it genuinely makes me so happy knowing that, you know, I can reach a couple people with this and change their life. That's how your mentality for life should be, but again, I don't make the rules. I also want to shine light on this, which is from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He mentions some things about desire too. And he has a list in this book of 7 major positive emotions. I'm not sure if he ranked this any specific way, but what I found very interesting in these 7 major positive emotions is that he put desire at the very top. Okay, so it goes desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, hope. Those are the 7 major positive emotions. Desire is a big one, okay? I completely forgot to make a note on my PC, but this literally brought up something huge for me, okay? Your desire is very important, and I will say this like a broken record, but do you know how I brought up earlier in this video that I studied for 2 years in college doing specifically addiction therapy? I got very close at landing a therapist job at my young age. I was like, I felt so... They were waving the carrot in my face, asking me for my references, like, and again, no shade to them specifically, everything happens for a reason. But I was devastated when I found out I didn't get the job because they gave it to someone with more experience. But now it's been made very clear to me, and I'm gonna implement this lesson into this video, is to never attach yourself to a place, a person, a company, an organization. The only thing you should be concerned with, you know, attaching yourself to is a purpose and a calling. I know my purpose in this life has, and I've known this from when I was a kid, and I just always kind of ignored it. I'm like, whatever. But I've always known my purpose in this life is to help people. And it's like a strange gut feeling, like, I'm sure you have this within you too if you know what your, like, purpose in life is. You just can't explain it. Like, it's just a feeling you've got within you. Like, you know you're destined to do something, you just can't explain it, but you want to show people, okay? The fact I did not get that job was a blessing in disguise. You know why? Because I would not have time to do this. I would not have time to make videos in the way that I've always dreamt of doing and have always wanted to do. So again, if something like that happened where it was kind of similar, try and reframe, because I'm telling you, certain things get like completely pushed away from your path because you're meant to be closer to something else. And this video, you know, perfectly segueing from that experience, I'm gonna leave you with this quote. And I found it as I was searching for my notes for this video, and I just kind of felt like it was a little bit divined, I guess. Divine timing. Okay? Not everything you lose is a loss. Some things are freedom. Some things are a second chance. Some things are a miracle in disguise. Some things are a detachment long needed, a clarity brought to blurry eyes. Some things are an intervention. Some things are the unexpected answer to a long chanted prayer. Some things are a healing. Some things are a becoming. Some things are planned long before you ever came to be. Some things are a devastation, but others are a kind of vital guidance, the kind of course correction you did not even know you needed, the kind you did not realize you were asking for all along. If this isn't your reminder that everything happens for a reason, I don't know what is. So again, remember, you have a choice after this video. Do you want to return to what's comfortable and what's familiar, or do you want to truly step in to your desires and not just look at them and fantasize over them, but live in them and get to exist in them? And remember, take reign of your own life.